The crystal chandeliers of Meridian Shopping Plaza's designer floor cast prismatic light that made 9 hours in stilettos feel like walking on broken glass. Jasmine Carter's feet throbbed as she rearranged the Tiffany display for the 4th time that shift, her badge reflecting the glare. Jasmine, fine jewelry specialist. Just 25 more minutes until she could escape to her cramped Hongdae studio apartment. "Excuse me, miss." The voice was low, textured with a Korean accent that commanded immediate attention. Jasmine turned and her pulse quickened. The man standing before her looked like danger dressed in Armani. Impossibly tall, razor-sharp features, eyes that assessed everything instantly. But it was the ink creeping above his collar that made her freeze. Elaborate phoenixes and Hangul script vanishing beneath his midnight suit. In traditional Seoul, visible tattoos like that signaled one reality: organized crime. "Of course, how may I assist you?" "I need something for a woman. Someone important." His awkwardness was palpable. "I'm useless with these things." Before we dive in, beautiful people, please remember to hit that like button and subscribe. It's the best way you can support us as we continue delivering captivating stories that'll keep you hooked every single day. Despite every instinct screaming caution, Jasmine found herself smiling. A terrifying-looking man absolutely drowning in a jewelry boutique. What's the special occasion? Her birthday. My younger sister. She's survived a lot. She needs something that proves I notice, that I care. 25 minutes later, Jasmine had walked him through the cases with professional ease. She observed how he dismissed anything ostentatious, how his battle-marked knuckles handled each piece with unexpected delicacy. "This piece," Jasmine said, selecting an elegant white gold bracelet adorned with a Magungwa charm. In Korean tradition, the Rose of Sharon symbolizes endurance and eternal prosperity. Delicate yet unbreakable. They bloom through scorching summers and bitter winters. Something shifted in his expression. "That's exactly right." "How could you tell?" "Intuition, I suppose." As she packaged the gift, her colleague Miho rushed past and stopped dead, color draining from his face. He seized Jasmine's arm with shaking hands. "Do you realize who that is?" Miho hissed desperately. "That's Kang Jiwon. He controls half of Gangnam. The criminal half, Jasmine. He's..." All set, Jasmine cut him off, returning to the register with her heart hammering. Kang Jiwon accepted the box, their fingers making brief contact. "What's the damage?" 2,847,000 won, sir. He produced a black card without hesitation. As the payment processed, his phone vibrated. Jasmine watched his entire presence transform from uncomfortable customer to something arctic and deadly. "I need to leave," he said sharply. But then he hesitated, examining her name tag. "Jasmine. American?" "Yes, sir. From Atlanta. 2 years in Seoul now. Your Korean is good." "Still learning. The market ajumas near my place are generous teachers." For the first time, his mouth curved into something resembling warmth. "Thank you. You showed respect to a stranger. In my world, that's uncommon." He departed and Jasmine exhaled a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. What she couldn't see was Kang Jiwon pausing at the exit, glancing back at the woman who'd treated him like anyone else for the first time in years. What she couldn't hear was his phone conversation in rapid Korean. "Get me everything on the American woman at the Tiffany counter. Name's Jasmine. And ensure nobody troubles her." What she couldn't know was that her simple gesture of humanity had just captured the focus of Seoul's most feared man. Some meetings change trajectories. This one was about to transform 2 destinies completely. He returned. Jasmine glanced up to see Miho staring toward the entrance like he'd witnessed a ghost. "Who returned?" "Kang Jiwon. Requesting you specifically." It had been exactly 24 hours. 24 hours of attempting to convince herself Miho was overreacting. But the way every staff member suddenly vanished told Jasmine everything. He stood near the entrance in a different suit, more ink visible now, climbing his neck in intricate designs. Under the fluorescent lights, he appeared even more dangerous and devastatingly striking. "Miss Kang," Jasmine said, approaching with her practiced smile. "Was there a problem with the bracelet?" "No problem. She adored it. You were correct about the symbolism. His dark eyes locked with hers. Have dinner with me. Around them, Jasmine sensed eyes watching. Coworkers stunned. Sir, I don't get involved with clients. Not involvement. Gratitude. You saw me as a person, not what reputation suggests I am. I don't know what reputation suggests. His laugh held bitterness. Dishonest. Your colleague informed you. Jasmine bit her lip. All right, yes. But I only witnessed someone wanting help selecting a meaningful gift. That's my only knowledge. Something in his face changed. Surprise. Maybe something more profound. 1 dinner. 2 hours. You'll be home by 10. You'll be protected. He placed a business card on the glass counter, matte black with silver text. Just a name and number. Text me yes or no. Before she could respond, his phone rang. He answered in clipped Korean, his entire demeanor shifting. She caught fragments. Warehouse. Payment. Issues. When he disconnected, he looked at her once more. I hope your answer is yes, Jasmine from Atlanta. Then he was gone, leaving her holding a card that felt weighted with consequence. You're not seriously entertaining this. Keisha, Jasmine's roommate and closest friend, stared at her in disbelief. It's just dinner. With a crime boss, Jasmine. An actual Korean crime boss. Keisha pulled up news articles on her tablet. Kang Jiwon, 32, assumed control at 25. They call him the Phantom because people who oppose him vanish. Jasmine's stomach churned. He was purchasing a gift for his sister, who was abducted 2 years back. He incinerated 3 warehouses and hospitalized 14 men retrieving her. Jasmine, this man is lethal. Everyone deserves basic decency. Not everyone is a walking danger sign covered in gangster tattoos. But Jasmine couldn't shake the memory of how his tone had gentled discussing his sister. How he'd thanked her for treating him humanely. Against every rational impulse, she picked up her phone. Yes, 1 dinner. But I select the location. His reply came instantly. Agreed. Tomorrow 7 p.m. Send the address. Keisha groaned. This is literally how thriller movies begin. What Jasmine didn't know was that Kang Jiwon stared at her message for 5 full minutes, something unfamiliar expanding in his chest. Possibility. Jasmine changed clothes 7 times before settling on the navy wrap dress. If you're dining with Korea's most dangerous man, at least look incredible doing it, Keisha said, resigned to her role as enabler. When Jasmine reached the lobby, Kang Jiwon stood beside a sleek Genesis G90 and her breath stuttered. Black trousers, charcoal button-down with sleeves pushed up, exposing complete tattoos on his forearms. Intricate tigers, Korean script, magnolia blossoms spiraling to his elbows. He looked like every maternal warning she'd received. He looked magnificent. You look stunning, he said, opening the door himself. Where to? He asked as she settled into the leather interior. Gwangjang Market. The street food market. His eyebrows lifted. Not somewhere with hidden prices on the menu. You mentioned a thank you dinner. I'm choosing somewhere I enjoy. She smiled at his reaction. For tonight, you're just Jiwon and I'm just Jasmine. No titles. Deal. All right then. Gwangjang Market was organized pandemonium. Vendors calling out, grills sizzling, the aroma of vindyadik and spices flooding the air. Jasmine watched Kang Jiwon's face as he comprehended she deliberately selected the most unpretentious location in Seoul. You can't orchestrate a criminal network from a plastic stool, she said brightly. For 2 hours, you're simply someone eating pancakes. Okay. Genuine laughter escaped him. Okay. They sat pressed together at a cramped table. The Ajumma managing the stall did a double take at his tattoos, but Jasmine's warmth dissolved the tension. Try this, Jasmine said, tearing off a piece of vindyadik and offering it. You're not intimidated by me at all, are you? Should I be? Most people are. Most people didn't watch you stress over jewelry meaning. She wiggled the pancake. Come on, it's cooling down. He accepted the bite directly from her fingers, his lips grazing her skin. Delicious. They conversed as they ate. Jasmine told him about Atlanta, about teaching English, about falling for Seoul's beautiful chaos. And Kang Jiwon listened like every syllable was precious. Your turn, Jasmine said. Tell me about Jiwon. Not Kang Jiwon the businessman. Just Jiwon. His jaw clenched. There is no just Jiwon. Try regardless. He went quiet, observing the crowd. I wanted to be a chef. My grandmother raised me and my sister after our parents were murdered. She taught me to prepare kimchi jjigae, traditional recipes. I imagined maybe opening a restaurant. His smile turned acrid. Then my uncle returned, informed us we had family duties. Choices became limited. Your sister. The one you bought the bracelet for. Soyeon. 23, art student. I constructed this empire to shield her, to guarantee she never lives the existence I live. That's why you chose the Magungwa. For her. And maybe for yourself too. Jasmine reached across and touched his scarred hand. Everyone deserves fresh starts, Jiwon. Even monsters. You're not a monster. You're someone who made impossible decisions. But you don't have to be defined by them permanently. Kang Jiwon stared at their joined hands like he'd never witnessed anything more extraordinary. He drove her home too quickly and too slowly, the car thick with tension that made every breath meaningful. Thank you for tonight, Kang Jiwon said outside her building. For treating me like I'm human. Should I be scared? Yes. Because I want to see you again. And everyone who gets close to me ends up damaged. That sounds like a choice I should make myself. You don't understand what I'm 26. I moved to a country where I barely spoke the language and I eat street food that probably violates health codes. I'm comfortable with risk. He laughed. You're reckless. But I'd like to see you again too. His hand caught her wrist, gentle but purposeful. One more thing. When I want something, I don't surrender easily. And I want to know you. Truly know you. So if you're uncertain, I'm certain, Jasmine whispered. The kiss happened between heartbeats. His hand cupping her face, her fingers gripping his shirt. Tender and desperate, tasting of makgeolli and promise. I'll call you tomorrow, he said like he feared she'd disappear. You better. What she didn't hear was his phone call afterward. Double her protection. Anyone who even looks at her wrong answers to me directly. What she didn't know was that she'd just become the most valuable person in Seoul's underworld. 3 weeks later, Jasmine was falling in love, and it petrified her. Coffee dates before her shifts, lunches at hidden restaurants, late dinners along the Han River. Messages that made her smile. And slowly, terrifyingly falling for a man who was both tender and vicious in equal parts. You're radiant, Miho observed. Please tell me this is about that man delivering you coffee every morning. Before Jasmine could answer, her phone buzzed. Jiwon. Emergency at work. Can you collect Soyeon from campus? I'll explain later. An address in Gangnam followed. Jasmine. Of course. Is everything all right? Jiwon. It will be. Thank you. 30 minutes later, Jasmine stood outside Yua Women's University, spotting a young woman who had to be Soyeon. Delicate features, long dark hair, Kang Jiwon's intense eyes. Soyeon, I'm Jasmine. Your brother sent me. Where is he? Fear flashed across her face. He never misses pickups. Is he? He's fine. Just a work situation. Soyeon studied her. You're the American. The one who helped with my bracelet. He mentions you constantly. They took a taxi to Kang Jiwon's Gangnam penthouse. The residence was a fortress disguised as luxury. Minimalist perfection with photographs everywhere of the siblings at different ages. When Kang Jiwon arrived, he looked depleted, disheveled, something dark on his cuff that might be blood. Soyeon. His voice fractured as his sister rushed to him. After Soyeon retreated to her room, Jasmine closed the distance. Are you okay? I am now. He pulled her close, buried his face in her hair. Thank you for getting her. What happened? She watched him wrestle with himself. Secrecy versus honesty. There was an incident. A rival attempted to move narcotics into my territory near Soyeon's campus. His voice was measured. I had to clarify that wouldn't be acceptable. Did you hurt people? Yes. Kill anyone? No. Not today. He met her eyes. But I considered it. These people were targeting schools, universities. Trying to establish operations near Soyeon. But you didn't kill them. You found alternatives. I hospitalized 3 people. That's not finding alternatives. It's attempting. That's all I'm asking. He looked at her with something fracturing in his expression. I need someone to tell me I'm not a monster. You're not leaving, Jasmine said firmly. You protected your sister from drug dealers. That's being a brother. He kissed her then, desperate and grateful and exhausted. What Jasmine didn't know was that outside, men were documenting everything, photographing, building dossiers. What she didn't know was that every moment in his world meant she was being monitored, evaluated, targeted. But she knew she'd crossed a threshold, that she was no longer just dating him. She was part of his existence in a way that couldn't be reversed. And despite everything, Jasmine didn't want to reverse it. She wanted to remain. The truth arrived at midnight on Thursday. Jasmine had been dodging Kang Jiwon's calls for 2 days, attempting to process what she was doing, who she was dating. Then Keisha burst in at 11:47 p.m., face ashen. Jasmine, you need to watch this. The news displayed a building ablaze in Gangnam. Police, ambulances, and Kang Jiwon captured in the footage, surrounded by suited men, expression cold as marble. The reporters spoke rapidly. Keisha translated. Gang-related arson. 3 deceased. Connected to territorial conflicts. Kang Jiwon witnessed at scene but not arrested. Jasmine's phone buzzed. Jiwon. I know you're watching. I can explain. Please, Jasmine. 3 people are dead, Jiwon. 3 people who attempted to bomb my sister's university. Who threatened her directly. Who made it explicit that anyone I care about is a target. Anyone I care about. Which meant her. Jiwon, I'm downstairs. Please come down. Jasmine, what if someone tracked you? Jiwon, nobody tracked me. And if they did, they're already corpses. Jasmine grabbed her jacket. Kang Jiwon leaned against his car in the parking structure, barely recognizable. Shirt stained with blood, knuckles split, tattoos appearing darker, more menacing. But his eyes, desperate and raw, were identical. 3 people are dead, she said flatly. 3 people who were planning to murder my sister tomorrow. Who sent her a letter detailing how they'd torture her. Who planted explosives near her studio. His voice was emotionless. Yes, 3 people are dead. And I'd eliminate 30 more to keep her safe. Jiwon, I spent 6 hours hunting them. They laughed when I showed them Soyeon's picture. Said she'd be perfect for their boss. His voice broke. So I ensured they could never harm her. Or you. The parking structure fell silent. That's what terrifies me, Jasmine whispered. Not that you're capable of violence, but that you execute it so naturally. It became natural the day my parents were executed in front of me when I was 12. It became natural when my uncle forced me into this existence. His voice erupted. You think I want this? I'd sacrifice anything to be the man who deserves you. But I surrendered normal at 12. Then why don't you leave? Because the moment I attempt it, everyone I love becomes a target. He was trembling now. Don't you understand? I have 12 men monitoring you constantly. 3 days after our first dinner, a rival tried to force you off the road. What? That black sedan on Gangnam Boulevard wasn't an accident. My driver intercepted. His voice broke. They've already determined you matter. That makes you a target whether I release you or not. Jasmine sank against a pillar. I can't, I know. That's why you should leave Seoul. Go anywhere but here. I'll protect you from distance, but we can't continue seeing each other. Is that what you want? I want normal. I want to wake beside you without worrying someone will bomb your apartment. But I don't get that. What if I don't want normal? She pushed off the pillar. What if I want you even knowing what you are? You don't comprehend what you're saying. I know about the bodies, the territory battles, the warehouse fires. I know you're called the Phantom. I know every terrible thing you are. She grabbed his jacket. And I'm still here. Tell me right now. Do you love me? The question paralyzed him. Yes, he finally whispered. God forgive me, yes. Then promise me you'll find an exit. Not today, but eventually. That's not a promise I know if I can keep. Then try. For Soyeon. For yourself. She stepped closer. For me. And if I can't? Then we figure it out together. Kang Jiwon's control shattered. He pulled her against him, burying his face in her hair. I'll try. I swear I'll try. They held each other. Two people from different universes who'd somehow discovered each other. What neither knew was that in a vehicle above, someone was documenting everything. The choice had been made. The consequences would follow. The somewhere safe was a traditional hanok in Bukshan, a beautiful Korean house concealed behind high walls and advanced security. My grandmother's home, Kang Jiwon explained. The only place I feel untainted inside. Soyeon was preparing tea. She looked up when they entered. You stayed, Soyeon said. I told you to run. I know. And you stayed anyway. I did. Soyeon smiled, small but genuine. Good. He needs someone courageous enough to choose him. After Soyeon left, they sat around a low table as Kang Jiwon destroyed every remaining illusion. My father was a foot soldier. When his organization collapsed, my uncle returned from Japan to claim territory. His voice was controlled, eyes fixed on his tea. My parents were murdered in the crossfire. I was 12, Soyeon was 10. You were 12 years old. Old enough to be useful. My uncle informed us we had family obligations. Sent Soyeon to our grandmother. Gave me 3 years to prove I was valuable. His jaw tightened. I was 14 the first time I shattered someone's arm. 15 when I had to choose between taking over Gangnam or watching him sell Soyeon to a Yakuza boss. Jasmine felt nauseous. He threatened to sell her? He did sell her. Arranged the deal. Gave me 3 days to prove I could manage operations more profitably. His voice cracked. If I succeeded, he'd cancel it. If I failed, Soyeon would vanish into Japan. So you succeeded. So I became a monster to rescue my sister. And I was exceptional at it. Natural. And your uncle? Retired to Osaka on money I send quarterly. The hatred was tangible. He calls occasionally. Says he's proud. Jasmine took his hand. You don't owe him anything. What exactly do you do now? She forced herself to ask. We control underground clubs, protection services. Businesses pay us for security the police can't provide. Import-export of gray market merchandise. Money laundering. Drugs? Never. My parents died from a drug transaction. I won't touch it. Human trafficking? Never. His voice turned sharp. Anyone caught trafficking is eliminated permanently. It's the line I won't cross. So there are boundaries. There are boundaries. But I've crossed plenty of others. Hospitalized people. Burned buildings. Made people disappear. The men tonight are dead. I killed them myself. His eyes were steady. And I'd do it again. I will always choose your safety over morality. Always. Same with Soyeon. Even if it means becoming a monster. I've been a monster since I was 15. The question is whether you can love a monster. Jasmine stood and Kang Jiwon's face showed fear that she was leaving. Instead, she sat beside him, close enough that their knees touched. I need you to promise you're working toward an exit. I don't care if it takes years, but this can't be forever. I've been transferring assets for 3 years. Legitimate businesses, real estate. The clubs could be legal with proper licensing. Security could become an actual company. So it's possible. It would take years. 5 to 10 maybe. And it would be dangerous. But you're trying. I've been trying since I took over. For Soyeon's future? He paused. And for a future where maybe I could be normal. Jasmine leaned her head on his shoulder. How long? 5 years if everything goes perfectly. 7 or 8 realistically. Okay. I can wait as long as you're trying. She cupped his face. But promise you'll keep me informed. No more secrets. He searched her face. That goes against every instinct. I know. But I need it. I need to trust you'll be honest. He nodded slowly. Okay. No more secrets. Kang Jiwon pulled her close. I don't deserve you. You're stuck with me anyway. The weight of the choice settled around them. What happens now? Jasmine asked. Now I inform my organization you're under my protection. You'll have visible security. People will know you're connected to me. How does that make me safer and more vulnerable? Safer because nobody will touch you without answering to me. More vulnerable because my enemies might see you as leverage. His expression darkened. But I'll make it explicit. Anyone who looks at you wrong dies. He stood, pulling her up. There's a room here for you. This house is the safest location in Seoul. You want me to move in? I want you protected and close. He hesitated. Is that selfish? Completely. But I want that too. I'll arrange security for Keisha too. Anyone close to you is vulnerable. If this gets Keisha killed, if anything happens to Keisha, I'll never forgive myself. I protect what's mine. And you're mine now. The possessiveness felt like safety. Jasmine made peace with her choice. She was choosing danger, uncertainty, a man who killed to protect those he loved. But also someone who looked at her like salvation, who was building a legitimate future, who was trying to be better. I love you, she said for the first time. Kang Jiwon's face transformed. Say it again. I love you, Jiwon. Not the phantom. Just you. The man who wanted to be a chef, who's trying to be better. I love you too, he whispered. And I promise I'll spend my life trying to deserve you. Sometimes the most dangerous choice is also the only one worth making. 6 months later. You're burning the kimchi jjigae again. Jasmine laughed as Soyeon's voice carried from the kitchen. She'd moved in 3 months ago and her Korean cooking was still a work in progress. Appa loves you so he'll eat anything, Soyeon said, appearing with a grin. Your brother has no complaints. My brother's a liar. Strong arms wrapped around Jasmine from behind, and she melted into Kang Jiwon's embrace. I heard my name being slandered, he murmured. Soyeon says you're lying about my cooking. I would never. He reached around to adjust the heat. Though maybe less fire. I'm heading to the library, Soyeon announced. Where people don't make out in kitchens. After she left, Jasmine studied Kang Jiwon's face. He looked lighter. The shadows were gone. He smiled more. How was the meeting with the attorneys? Good. The nightclub paperwork is almost complete. Fully legal within 2 months. Security company is operational, 3 contracts being reviewed. And the other operations being phased out. There's still some business, but I've been explicit. Drugs, trafficking, extreme violence gets shut down immediately. How are others responding? He hesitated. Truthfully, there was an attempt last month. Someone thought I was weak. They tried to hit a warehouse. His voice went flat. They were mistaken. Are they hospitalized? Not dead. Broken bones, but alive. He met her eyes. I'm trying to find alternatives. Jasmine kissed him softly. That's all I ask. I have something to tell you, she said, heart racing. Kang Jiwon pulled back, reading her expression. Should I be worried? My visa expires in 3 months. She watched panic flash across his face. You're leaving? That depends. Jasmine pulled a small box from her pocket. Jewelry, commitment, meaning. On whether you want me to stay. Kang Jiwon stared at the box, speechless. I know we're doing this backwards, but I know you'd never ask me to stay because of guilt. She opened it, revealing a silver band engraved with Korean characters. So I'm asking. Kang Jiwon, will you marry me? He laughed, real genuine laughter. You're insane. Is that a yes? That's a you're incredible and I don't deserve you but yes anyway. He kissed her deeply. Yes. Always yes. She slipped the ring on his finger. There's more. I've been offered a position at Korea University. Full-time with proper visa. She watched hope bloom in his expression. I'm staying. You're staying. His voice cracked. With you. Building a life here. I love you so much. She pulled out her phone, showing him a restaurant listing. Keisha's friend's family owns a place in Hongdae. Traditional Korean food. They're retiring and looking to sell. He stared at the listing. I don't understand. You wanted to be a chef. What if you could do both? Transition the business and build the dream you gave up. I can't just, why not? You have the resources. You're getting the time. And you have someone who believes you'd be amazing. She squeezed his hands. Let yourself dream again. For a long moment, silence. Then, my grandmother's recipes. I still have them. Then use them. Honor her memory. Kang Jiwon pulled her close, shoulders shaking with tears that spoke of 17 years of buried dreams. I love you so much. 3 months later, Jasmine stood in Halmoni's, the restaurant Kang Jiwon had renovated. Named after his grandmother. The soft opening was intimate. Soyeon, Keisha, trusted people transitioning to legitimate work, market vendors who'd shown Jiwon kindness. She watched him move through the kitchen with confidence. His tattoos were visible. He'd stopped concealing them. Dragons and tigers and magnolia blossoms. History written on skin but not defining him. He looks happy, Soyeon said beside her. I haven't seen him like this since before our parents died. He's trying. He's succeeding. Thank you for seeing who he could be. The evening passed in joy. Kang Jiwon's cooking was extraordinary. Traditional recipes elevated with love and skill. As they cleaned up, Jasmine said, this was perfect. It was terrifying. I kept waiting for someone to remind me I'm not a real chef. You're a chef, a businessman, a brother, the man I'm marrying in 2 months. You're all of those things. He pulled her close. How did I get so lucky? You needed help with a bracelet. Best customer service ever. They locked up together. As they drove through Seoul's glittering streets, Kang Jiwon said, I got a call from my uncle. Jasmine tensed. To congratulate me on the restaurant, the engagement. Said he's proud. That going legitimate was always the goal. How do you feel? Confused. He destroyed my childhood to make me strong enough for this. And now he acts like it was all planned. Was it necessary? I don't know. Maybe I'd have found another way. Or maybe I'd be dead. I'll never know. But you're taking that path and making it yours. You're not who he tried to create. You're someone better. Is that enough? It's everything. They pulled into the hammock, their home, their sanctuary. Jasmine thought about their journey. A chance encounter, a Magungwa bracelet, choosing to see the human beneath the monster. Thank you, Kang Jiwon said. For choosing me, for staying, for believing I could be more. Thank you for letting me, for being brave enough to try. She kissed him. And for learning to make jjigae properly. He laughed, and the sound filled their home. Outside, Seoul continued spinning. Inside, 2 people who shouldn't work were building something beautiful from broken pieces. I love our life, Jasmine said softly. So do I, Kang Jiwon replied. So do I. In their traditional house, surrounded by promises of new beginnings. A wedding, a restaurant, a future becoming legitimate. They held each other and believed that maybe, just maybe, love could be enough. Not love that ignored darkness, but love that chose light anyway. Not easy love, but real love. Not perfect love, but present love. The kind worth fighting for, the kind worth choosing, even when choosing meant walking into danger. And Jasmine Carter, who'd left Atlanta for adventure, smiled and knew she'd made the right choice. Sometimes the most dangerous thing you can do is fall in love. But sometimes it's also the most necessary. Okay, real talk. I spent days crafting this story and I need to know. Did Kang Jiwon and Jasmine's ending feel authentic or did it feel too neat? Drop a comment if you loved it. Hit subscribe if you want more stories that make you feel everything. And tell me in the comments, what kind of story do you want next? More mafia romance, forbidden love, enemies to lovers? Your comments literally shape what I create next. So don't hold back. See you in the next one.